Zealand's knowledge comes from practical experience. We have seismic risk, we have volcanic risk, and we have risk from tsunami. We rely then on science to provide us with good information, not only about that risk, but about what to expect when disaster strikes. Collaboration between agencies in both the private and government sector in preparedness and recovery is important, with the aim of minimising future losses through good land use planning, good engineering, and community and economic resilience. Access to large capital pools is also important. That's where insurance becomes equally important. In New Zealand, high levels of insurance meant that people who lost their homes or their businesses had choice, as did government, around horizontal infrastructure. The partnership model that we work to requires central government to work with local government, to take on the views of non-government agencies, and to also work with the business community. We have a strong can-do attitude in New Zealand. We value international partnerships. We want to share what we've learned and gain from the experience of others. And as we recover, we are guided by the call, doing things differently together.
New Zealand's an island nation in the southwest Pacific. It's an active region because it's in the collision zone between two tectonic plates and in the westerly wind belt. Moving through New Zealand, we're going to illustrate some of New Zealand's approaches to disaster risk reduction to natural hazards from Christchurch, Wellington and Auckland.
Resilience in New Zealand means having the ability to adapt, survive and thrive in the face of adversity. In New Zealand, disaster risk management is about everybody taking responsibility. That's from families and individuals at the heart of our communities, right up to local government, businesses and central government as well. We have devolved arrangements that mean we act locally, we coordinate regionally and we support nationally. An emergency can occur at any time. It's important for our communities to have taken action before an emergency occurs, to understand their hazards and the risks that are posed from them and be ready to respond and recover from their consequences.
Back in 2010 and 2011, Christchurch experienced a number of really damaging earthquakes. We're now well into the recovery process. I guess there are a couple of things that we've really learnt from this experience. One is the importance of partnership, especially when you've got central government working hand in hand with local government and here in Christchurch with Ngāi Tahu and other agencies. The second thing that we've really learned is it's allowing those that have the ability to innovate, the creative people that actually come to the fore always after a disaster. They're the ones who help us through the recovery and help lead the way.
As students after the Christchurch earthquakes, we mobilised 11,000 volunteers to contribute to the response. Basically, we organised it ourselves and did so through social media. It was crucial to really listen and deeply listen to what people wanted and to what was going on the streets of Christchurch.
In immediately post-earthquake Christchurch, we had a situation where there was simply no business. We had no services, no sewage, no electricity, no water, no supply chains. Most small businesses rely on weekly income to pay their wages. If they don't have the income, they can't pay the wages. So we had to provide cash for businesses so they could maintain the fabric of their company. The earthquake support subsidy occurred within 2 days of the September earthquake and was instigated with companies getting money into their bank accounts within a week of the first earthquake.
Long before the Canterbury earthquakes, the Canterbury District Health Board was working with local government, the business community and civil defence to prepare our community for pandemics and other emergencies. The All Right campaign is a New Zealand approach to psychosocial recovery across the wider population through creative social marketing. All Right is the question which starts a conversation about well-being.
SCIRT stands for the Stronger Christchurch Infrastructure Rebuild Team, based on a contract agreement between government agencies and the private sector contracting fraternity. SCIRT is running a program of hundreds of projects. It's a unique organisation formed to carry out the infrastructure rebuild works, encourages collaboration between the participants whilst not losing that competitive tension between them. That means all teams have to help each other to perform.
Christchurch was one of the first 33 cities that were announced as part of the Rockefeller Foundation's 100 Resilient Cities Network. In this network, we have the opportunity to share our experience with other cities, but at the same time, we get to learn from their experiences as well.
Here in Wellington, we're well aware of the hazards we face, including earthquakes and tsunami. We have many initiatives underway, and since the Canterbury earthquakes, we've redoubled our efforts. We've also joined Christchurch in being welcomed into the Rockefeller Foundation's 100 Resilient Cities. Wellington City has already strengthened many heritage and public buildings. We're working with owners and architect students to take a precinct approach in some of our older areas. Community preparedness is essential. That provides everyday benefits as well as community resilience in the event of a disaster.
So one of the biggest lessons that has come out of Christchurch is really the power of community and the power of local leadership. And so as emergency managers, we are now looking to say, how can we better draw upon that experience and bring that here to Wellington to create and enhance the resilience of our region? So this really is a big change in the way that we work as emergency managers. We're now working with our community in every opportunity rather than doing things to our community. So here's an example of where we are bringing community leaders together under our community response and resilience planning process, where they're identifying what is it they love about their community, what is it they'd want to change, and then we're connecting those to other people that can help enable those processes to happen. One of the risks that we face in Wellington is tsunami, and so recognizing that risk, we worked alongside of our scientists and some of our community leaders to develop a public awareness campaign. One of the best ideas out of that came this tsunami blue line, which is just simple paint across the road marking the maximum run-up height of where people need to go. The power in this is actually the community developed this concept, and as emergency management we facilitated that process. So what we're really trying to do in Wellington is actually create a more collaborative environment from the outset, working alongside of our many diverse community groups, our local government, our central government, our many researchers, schools, local leaders, and finding out how we can create a shared vision of making a more resilient and prepared and connected Wellington region together.
We're in the basement of Wellington's main public hospital. This hospital is protected from earthquakes principally by these lead rubber bearings invented here in Wellington, which allow the building above to stay almost still while the ground shakes beneath it. So this technique of base isolation has been actively used in New Zealand for more than 30 years and has been exported all around the world, where there are now thousands of buildings containing these types of bearings.
Local government authorities in Auckland have researched coastal hazards extensively. Here, for example, this shows areas subject to future coastal inundation and sea level rise scenarios. In response to this, local government authorities have put plans and rules in place to restrict future development in these locations. Auckland is a very multicultural and diverse city. It has the largest Polynesian population in the world. As a result of this, our communities have strong ties to the Pacific nations.
There's an international connection to all of this. We've over the years built up a lot of experience and expertise in New Zealand. We live in a part of the world where regretfully disasters happen a lot, and we have a particular friendship and responsibility to our friends in the South Pacific. So what we've been doing very much is taking our expertise, our experience to share with our partners and friends in the South Pacific. And this will certainly continue because sadly this is one of the most disaster-prone countries in the whole world. We've also been looking further afield. We work through the United Nations. We do a lot of work at the moment in Southeast Asia with our ASEAN friends and up into Northeast Asia. And this sort of work will continue. And I think a particularly special dynamic that is emerging is that we understand that disasters have no boundaries. You know, rich, poor, north, south, developing, disasters happen to all of us. And so just as we're very, very happy and pleased to share our knowledge and experience with others in the Pacific, in the region, around the world, it's also very much for us a two-way street. Responding to disasters, preparing for disasters, disaster risk reduction, it's something that we're all in it together. And for New Zealand, it is very, very much a partnership approach. We like to share, we also like to listen and to learn.
Characteristics of disaster risk reduction in New Zealand are community engagement, partnership, innovation and leadership at state and local level. We see this as a comprehensive end-to-end approach, doing things differently together.